Water, the largest water utility in Maryland and the eighth largest in the nation. With 25 years of experience spanning the U.S. and London, Keisha leads with a passion for operational excellence, environmental justice, and water equity. Hear her insight on overseeing water operations for 1.9 million customers, champion infrastructure investment, and empowering communities through leadership in the global water sector. You guys are in for a good one today, and I know Odisha is going to definitely get to the bottom of Ms. Keisha Powell's career. So we're going to take a very, very, very short commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have Odisha Williams and Keisha L. Powell chatting it up right here for you on Nabwic Talk. Stay tuned.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Delaware Senior United States Senator Tom Carper. Let me just start by saying thanks to all of you members of the National Association of Black Women in Construction, whose hard work has helped connect and build water and wastewater infrastructure that communities across our nation that rely on every day. It's been nearly 3 years if you can believe it, since President Joe Biden signed our bipartisan infrastructure law to make it the law of the land. This is once generation legislation that is driving record investments in our nation's wastewater and drinking water infrastructure while creating literally thousands of good paying jobs at the same time across America. As chairman of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee, I'm especially proud that the work of our committee became the foundation of this bipartisan infrastructure law. As a result, the House has secured an unprecedented $50 billion, that's billion with a B, to improve our nation's water infrastructure, the largest ever investment of this kind. So let me just close with it. I often say that in everything I do, I know I can do better. And while the investments we've made for our nation's infrastructure and the bipartisan infrastructure law were much needed and historic, there's still more that can be done that needs to be done. And again, I want to thank the National Association of Black Women in Construction and all of your members across the country for everything that you do to support the advancement of Black women in construction and to ensure clean, reliable water is growing in communities all across our nation. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome back to Nabwic Talk. We are so excited today to have with us our woman in spotlight who is for our $1 billion lunch and water utilities. As you know, every week we do have a $1 billion luncheon, and we are always excited to have our woman in spotlight who is a woman who is doing dynamic and amazing things in their industry. So we invite them to participate as our woman in spotlight for a $1 billion luncheon. And we have today with us Keisha L. Powell, who is the General Manager and CEO of WSSC Water. And she has had, as you heard our other co-hosts share, she has had a tremendous experience in the public and private sectors of the water industry abroad and in the U.S. So welcome, Keisha. Good morning. I pray that you're having a great day. How's everything going for you?
Oh, thank you. It's going well. Every day it never follows the same script, but it's always exciting in the water business, especially. And this is just this time of year is very busy for us because we have a lot of water conferences. We have a focus on the value of water this week, actually, and then it's budget planning season, and we have some other things underway at the utility. So I've just prepared for every day to not be as I planned it.
Well, thank you for taking some time out of your very, very busy schedule to talk with us. And thank you for being a featured woman in Spotlight for the $1 billion luncheon. We last week we had on Brenda Grayer, who you met at the Congressional Black Caucus with Nabwic. And so She was telling us about how she and her sister were involved in the industry, and McDaniel was telling us about the conference that she went to last week in water. So like you said, there's just so much going on around something that's so important, right? So how water impacts our lives, obviously, is felt in every single capacity of everyday life. I mean, we just got through two major hurricanes in the last few weeks, and so water is all around us. And so thank you for everything that you do in the industry, and thank you for your leadership. So could you tell us a little bit about what's been, we already heard your bio, so I won't go into that, but what has been one of the roles or responsibilities that you've been most proud of throughout your esteemed career?
So, well, and thank you for touching on, the hurricanes and Helene and Milton, and, the impact that they are having to the community, for sure. We talked about that in terms of wet weather, but also the impact that it's had to the utility operations. There's some operations that have had to really adjust their operations, or their plants have been significantly impacted. Other infrastructure has been significantly impacted. So it just goes to show that climate change has so many impacts beyond flooding, and are really impacting communities in significant ways. So I just want to say that we are keeping them in prayer. Our emergency management people are keeping an eye on any requests for emergency support or assistance through our network. And our team has been very interested in being able to contribute something to those communities from here. So thank you for that. And thank you also for inviting me and recognizing me in this way. I'm truly honored and happy to be with you. I would say that probably the most impactful role or period in my career was the time that I spent in Jackson, Mississippi. I've been with 5 utilities. I started out in the private sector, and because of a job that I had with a company that I worked for, serving the city of Baltimore's water and wastewater utility at the time that their wet weather consent decree was entered, it really gave me a very detailed view into utility operations and being able to work with that team. And from that point forward, I, really started to think about a career in public service. The city of Baltimore was the first utility that I was invited to lead. That was the third time being with or working for the city of Baltimore in some capacity. I worked for them as an intern when I was with Morgan State University, then again as a consultant, and then as the bureau head, my first utility, a regional utility, the second largest in the state of Maryland. And when I left there, I went back into the private sector and was then called by the mayor of the city of Jackson when they received a consent decree. So it was kind of a full circle moment, or at least a half circle moment. And I went to the city of Jackson not knowing what to expect, not knowing anyone, and had not intended to take the position, but I was really, after visiting the city, I was really impressed by the strides that they were trying to make to improve their metering infrastructure, and they had a consent decree, and they were looking for assistance with getting a plan in place to spend a sales tax that they had voted for to improve infrastructure. And in that experience, because we had very limited staff and there were so many things that were going awry, Toward the end of my tenure there, we had a lead action level exceedance. We had a plant that completely lost power. We had water main break, significant water main break, pressure issues, a meter infrastructure system that was undergoing an upgrade, but there were a lot of problems with the implementation. So many things to get under control, to continue to serve, to support the team. It's where I really encountered so many issues that by the time I went to Atlanta, I think I could say that there wasn't anything that I had not seen. So I think that was a pivotal moment or experience for me, because it showed me that within myself, I could find it within myself to get through anything. And I think for all of the challenges that were there, from many folks that I encountered, they showed me a lot of respect and support in my efforts. And, even when things did not go well. So it was not an experience. So many people ask me if I had it to do all over again, would I make a different decision? And I think there are some decisions that might be different, but going there to help and support that community at that particular time, I don't think I would take that out of.
Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
Secretary Commission. And so she's been telling us a lot about water. And we know water, we turn it on in the morning, we brush our teeth, we take a shower. But water runs deep. And I mean that to be a pun. So I know that there is a lot that is involved in what you're doing. Like you were just talking about several communities that you work with who may have had a water crisis, right? So we're talking about consent decrees, and then you can explain what that means in terms of what that means, in terms of if there's a issue that's requiring something urgent that people are doing to rescue, or, so there's a lot that goes into what we see as on the consumer side is our water. And then, like, we talked a little bit about how these hurricanes and weather issues and how that impacts water and clean water. And, it's just so much that goes into it. So give us a little glimpse. I know you said that the day and the life changes all the time, but so I won't talk about granularly on your life, but what are some of the things that, as consumers, as people who are interested in the construction, utilities, what are some of those high-level things that are going on in your world every day that, one, we should be aware of, and two, that impact how you decide you're going to do in a leadership position?
Yeah. So in the water utility space, especially, one of our biggest concerns is the age of our infrastructure, right? Because for so many years, until the bipartisan infrastructure law, water infrastructure has just been significantly underfunded, especially when you compare to our peers in the transportation sector. Even in the bipartisan infrastructure law, of all of the new spending, surface transportation or transportation in general received more than half of all new spending in the bipartisan infrastructure law. Water was one of the sectors that got a piece of what was remaining. And while it was historic levels of funding, it still is not enough to address the significant critical infrastructure needs in the water sector across the country. So that's one thing. And because we have not made the investments in water infrastructure that we should, we have a lot of infrastructure that is approaching the end of its useful life. And I heard a colleague say earlier this week that the way she has explained it to her stakeholders She explains it as we're headed toward that infrastructure cliff where, we have been working to maintain systems and to keep things together. But there is going to come a time, and we see this with many utilities around the country, where infrastructure starts failing at an alarming rate. And I saw this when I was in the city of Baltimore. We started to have very severe, significant water main breaks when I was there, and that was 2008 to 10 time frame. We had a water main break that completely flooded downtown Baltimore. We had another that tore up a highway on ramp, and another that was very close to the plant and started, bleeding the plant dry, if you will, because there was so much water and just the river running down the street. That's not the way we want to maintain our systems, hopping from emergency to emergency. We want to have planned capital improvement programs. We have, WSSD Water has one 6-year plan. And we want to have the time to invest in a way that we can leverage those investments with improving and introducing technology, making sure that we're making the most of those investments, because our customers are the ones that are really largely footing the bill. And, when we can't make those investments, then we have urgent need repairs that we have to make. But, a day in the life can be very hectic. We are 24/7, 365 operation, and we have a number of plants and pump stations, miles and miles and miles of pipe. And this summer alone, we've had several significant emergency events. We had a plant that lost power. We had a second plant that lost power. We had major water main breaks and disruptions that we try to minimize. There is also critical infrastructure that, if it were to fail, it would have significant impacts on the communities around it. In some cases, some very catastrophic things would happen. So it's so important that we have good, solid plans, that we understand the risks of infrastructure failure, and that we are able to execute on those plans, really deliver on our CIP, which is why I'm very keen to see women in construction, because I want to make sure that we are part of the solution. And certainly it's great to see Black women in construction that are really pushing the envelope, doing more, being engaged to help us maintain and manage our systems going forward.
Absolutely, and we are honored to partner with you to do that, to help with this important fight. And so I'm glad you said that, because that leads me to my next question, and then we will wrap up and give you your day back. But what are some ways people who are interested in becoming involved in some of the projects that you may have on a commercial side? How would someone who is a contractor who's interested in water utilities, how would they be able to connect with what you're doing at WSSC, as well as some other agencies that you could maybe recommend?
Yeah, I would say certainly get to know our programs and our strategic plan. We just released the strategic plan this summer. We have in the strategic plan a strategic priority for digital transformation. We're focused on sustainability and resilience. We're focused on operational reliability, asset management, and infrastructure integrity, as well as workforce development and culture. And that includes, an internal and an external look, because we want to make sure that not only do we have the workforce internally that will allow us to operate and maintain our infrastructure, and we have $9 billion in infrastructure assets, but we want to make sure that we not only the workforce, but that our partners, the companies that are helping us with the investments and the work that is needed, also have the workforce that they need to perform. And I would say it's very important to really understand our infrastructure assets, to understand our capital improvement program, to understand our strategic plan, to meet with people and really understand our perspective and where we're going, what we're looking for. We have a Tap into Business event that's coming up, I believe in December timeframe. And that really is a great time to come and meet the team, ask questions, really truly understand what we will need going forward, the skill sets we'll need. We have started having outreach events for our major capital projects, and that has allowed, I think, more folks to be aware early, so that those opportunities are not a surprise. They have people have time to decide how they may want to team, what resources they may need to pursue the work, what role they can play in the work. So it gives firms an opportunity to network for sure, but also to ask questions for yourself about the intent of the work and what we're looking for. So that those opportunities have been very successful. This month, actually next week at our commission meeting, our procurement team will be announcing a new initiative, which is focused on providing even more assistance for those firms that want to grow, that want to do business with us, but need some assistance and support. So I'm really excited about that initiative. And again, it's designed to help those that really need it, to understand how to do business with us and really grow their businesses.
Wow, Keisha, I have to tell you, as you're talking, I just see you as like in a superhero, just flying around, just doing all this stuff, holding up the water utilities and so wow, I really appreciate everything.
It's funny you say that, because our interns this summer, as a gift, during their closing program, they made me. They drew a picture of me in a superhero costume, and on the chest they put justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And I have a spear on my back. They have my hair out. I guess they said my signature look, but I have that in my office now, and I actually want to take a picture of it and start using that as my bio picture for events like this. But because I was actually brought to tears, because to know that is how our intern cohort sees me really means that an impact is being made at so many levels. And I don't do it by myself. I have a team of folks that I work with, our senior leadership team, folks throughout the commission, all of the employees that have been dedicated to our strategic planning initiative. We had 140 or so employees involved in that effort to develop the strategic plan. And it just speaks to what we're trying to do here at WSSC Water to really change the culture.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that your intern cohort saw you that way too, as just as we do the world. So, hey, it's definitely, your leadership is definitely exemplary, and we really appreciate everything that you're doing for the university, as well as I'm sure WSSC appreciates you too. So we have been talking with Keisha L. Powell, who is the CEO and General Manager of Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission, and she has been giving us so much vital information. If you are a business owner, I welcome you to go to their website and keep track of tap into, what did you say it was called again? Tap into.
It's our Tap into Business event. We'll have
I love that.
yeah, right.
So keep your field on Tap into Business with WFMC. Go to WFCwater.com and Keisha, we really hope that you will consider joining us as a member. Thank you so much for. Do you have anything that you would like to add before we wrap up?
Well, thank you for everything that you all are doing. I think it's so important to continue to highlight the great work of our minority and women's-owned businesses, but certainly Black women in construction. And I went to Morgan State University. I majored in civil engineering, and I got into this field and really have maintained very, very close ties to being an engineer, not just being a figurehead, because I truly believe in the work. And I'm so happy that you all are uplifting and helping to train more women to be in this field. It's so vitally important that we have folks that are continuing the fight, because we know that diversity, equity, and inclusion are under attack in many places around the country. And it's going to be important for us all to really lean into this work and to continue to support and do the right thing.
Yes, and thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. And thank you all for listening to Nabwic Talk. We are here every Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. and we invite you to join us in just a few hours at our Nabwic Vision, where none other than KISHIA L. Powell is speaking with today. She is our Woman in Spotlight for our luncheon, and I'm sure you can see why. And she's also the CEO and General Manager of WSSC Water. Thank you so much, KISHIA, for being here. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been Nabwic Talk. Have a great day.
This concludes our show. Thank you for listening to Nabwic, the National Association of Black Women in Construction. For more information about Nabwic and our membership, please visit us on the web at www.nabwic.org. We are the voice of Black women in construction. Have a great and prosperous day.